Matt Gray is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
Welcome. Thanks for being here. 888-900-3393 if you'd like to get involved in the broadcast. If you'd like to share your opinion of what's going on, there's so much going on that it's hard to know even where to start on pretty much a daily basis and pretty much for about the last 5 years at least, if not the last decade. It is so bad concerning America's freedom of speech right now with the big tech cracking down on anybody on the right, that even leaders in Germany and France, Mexico, are alarmed about it. They're attacking Twitter's move to ban President Trump, and they have blasted the big tech industry for curbing free speech. Just, it's amazing. Now, our free speech is having to be defended by leaders in Germany.
Wow, that's a red flag.
Yeah, you would think.
God.
You would think. Plus, the ACLU even came out against deplatforming the president. All right. Communists. Communists started that organization. Even communists. Well, okay, not necessarily communists running it now, but those were the principles upon which the ACLU was founded on, not the Constitution, but communism. And so I think it says a lot when even the ACLU is alarmed by the lack of freedom of speech in this country. German Chancellor Angela Merkel said yesterday through chief spokesman Stefan Siebert that Twitter's Trump ban is a problem and that corporations should not be messing with free speech. The chancellor sees the complete closing down of the account of an elected president as problematic. Adding that the freedom of speech can be interfered with, but by law and within the framework defined by the legislature, not according to a corporate decision.
She had me for a little while. Yeah, it's okay to limit free speech as long as the government's doing it, not private companies.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
I mean, this is a German chancellor.
That's true. I mean,
right?
But that's good for
Yes.
Europe. That's okay.
That's great. France Finance Minister Bruno Le Maire echoed Merkel's criticism. He said that he was shocked by Twitter's move. Digital regulation should not be done by the digital oligarchy itself. Regulation of the digital arena is a matter for the sovereign people, governments, and the judiciary. It's great. The leaders of other nations, not nearly as free as this nation, is lecturing us on freedom. That's great. Mexico's president has also condemned the move by Twitter to ban Trump. I mean, it is alarming when you think about it. Okay, he's permanently banned forever from Twitter.
And Europe and Mexico
are concerned about it. Yeah. Yeah. Nobody on the left in this country is concerned about it. Of course, they love it. They're applauding the move. Just wait till it gets to them. It doesn't stop here. I don't know how stupid you have to be to believe, it's fine to do that to him. That's great. I'm going to applaud that move. And that's as far as it's ever going to go, you think? These are just not bright people on the left. They should be fighting tooth and nail against all of this. When the ACLU steps in and says, hey, this is even too far for us, in defense of somebody on the right, that's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. And yes, it should be a warning flag for every single living, breathing American. Also, they allowed the Hang Mike Pence tweet to trend for hours.
Kind of said that the inflection was that you didn't like that.
Yeah,
hashtag?
kind of. Yeah, I didn't. I did not like the hashtag.
Okay.
Hang Mike Pence is not. No, that's not a good. That's not a good hashtag. It's not a good thought. It's not good practice.
So surely they immediately removed that.
Except no.
Well then.
Mm-hmm. They allowed it to trend on its platform. Matt Rourke, AP Twitter Matt Rourke of the AP, that Twitter allowed public calls to hang Vice President Mike Pence to trend on its platform Saturday morning, just hours after the account for President Trump was permanently suspended for inciting violence.
I can't take it.
Just amazing. Just hours before, Pence signaled his intention to allow the certification of the electoral votes to proceed, officially putting Biden on the road to becoming the 46th president. Twitter said they had taken corrective action. We blocked the phrase and other variations of it from trending. Except it did trend, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We want trends to promote healthy discussions on Twitter. There are rules for trends. If we identify accounts that violate these rules, we'll take enforcement action. Well, after we allow it to sink in with everybody, if it's a message we like. And that is. That's a message they like. Just absolutely crazy.
And by the way, people are attempting to find where Trump specifically called for violence against the terms of agreement. And
he didn't.
That evidence is not there.
Yeah, he did say go there, march on the Capitol. He did not say break windows, threaten people, build a gallows. He didn't say any of that. So it's not a tough case to make, though. They just say it, and it's so. All of a sudden, they speak it into existence. And it just doesn't matter what reality is. It doesn't matter what the evidence is. If they say it long enough and loud enough, it just becomes fact. Really amazing. Absolutely amazing. Hank Johnson was being interviewed by Al Sharpton. So that's a brain trust right there. That's a think tank that's pretty hard to compete with. When you got those two together, forget it.
So Mr. Chipotle interviewed Mr. Capsize.
Exactly.
Okay.
And
this will be good.
So here's what Hank said about the takeover last Wednesday. Pretty frightening.
We can't forget that this country was born in racism. Racism.
We can't forget that because it's not true. This country was not born in racism. He goes on.
It's in the soil of this country.
It's in the soil of the country.
What sprouted out on Wednesday.
You know what? It's the opposite. Do you know that race is not even mentioned? Color of people, not even mentioned in the U.S. Constitution. They saw everybody as equal, and that's why they wrote about it. However, they had been strapped with the evil of slavery for 350 years prior, and it was going to take some time, but they took the first steps to end it because in the Constitution, they sunsetted the slave trade. It was going to end in 1807, and then after that, they'd take care of the rest of it, the actual practice of slavery. But they ended the slave trade within the confines of the Constitution. It's just the opposite of it was born, that the country was born out of racism. You have no understanding of our actual history.
On one hand, you had the results of the Tuesday election, where we've got two new United States senators who have enabled Democrats to control the Senate so that we could start enacting some of the agenda of the
socialists, of the communists,
Harris administration, and that's going to be great for the nation. But ominously, they're still in the soil of this nation arises the fruit of racism. It displayed itself in the policing that went on at the Capitol. I have no problem with the rank and file police officers who were undermanned. They didn't have the proper equipment. Somebody had put them in an untenable situation. And so they reacted in the only way that they could, but they were met by an overwhelming mob that was sent there. And they were set up the same way that we in Congress were set up. We didn't know until the last minute that we were in danger.
Wow.
It was too late for us to take any action to protect ourselves. And for a while, we were at the mercy of this mob that came with zip ties and hangman's nooses. and had set up a gallows on the Capitol grounds, Reverend Al.
They set up gallows. Let me push you on that. They set up gallows on the Capitol ground, had nooses.
Let me just repeat what you said, because that's what I do. Okay, they set up gallows. They had zip ties. They set up nooses. Why was traffic email sent? Actually, forget the phrase. But the point is, they're all racist trying to kill people of color. Am I right? Am I right, Hank?
Had Confederate flags in the Capitol building.
I just remembered. I just remembered, or at least I was reminded by Keith. Why was traffic problems email sent?
That's right, Reverend Al.
Thank you, Keith. He's about to answer the question.
Nothing but a race war that was about to be unleashed.
Yeah.
And had it not been for the gunshot of the one shot fired by that plainclothes officer in the speaker's lobby.
Okay, so get the gist of what he's saying here. It was a good thing that she was shot dead. It was a good thing that Ashley Babbitt was shot dead.
Right behind the House gallery, right there. If those people had been able to get through, they would have had us who were in the gallery up on the third floor trapped.
Wow.
We would not have been able to get out. And Reverend Al, when they finally got us out of there, we walked past spread-eagled rioters on the floor at gunpoint by the Capitol Hill police officers. As we went down the steps, they had us surrounded up there on the third floor, and if that police officer had not fired and stopped the onslaught on the speakers in the speaker's lobby, they would have cut off our escape route. They would have had us upstairs, and I have no doubt that some of us who look like me would have been hanging from the railings of the third floor onto the house floor, swinging like fruit.
Like fruit. They would have had you swinging like fruit. How does fruit swing? I don't know that I'm familiar with that expression, but I'm sure it's an age-old, time-tested.
It's got to be windy, obviously.
Swinging like fruit. All right. Well, he truly believes that they would have lynched the black members of Congress. That's what he's saying. Were gallows built outside? Yeah. Yeah. Do you know for whom, though? And I believe it was symbolic, but they were chanting, hang Mike Pence. Not hang Hank Johnson or hang all blacks. Hang Mike Pence. Last time I checked, he's as white can be. Why are you making this into a racial situation?
No kidding. He even hinted at the beginning of that clip that cops are racists. And that, but I don't blame the Capitol Hill cops. They were in a no-win situation. And then he goes on to praise the police officer
for shooting Ashley Babbitt.
For shooting a gun, which he is on record of being against in the past.
And by the way, she's white. She was white.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, we all know that Hank Johnson is butt stupid and mostly famous for this.
My fear is that the whole island will become so overly populated that it will tip over and capsize.
Yeah. We don't anticipate that, Hank, again. But I think this particular rant with Al Sharpton, it exceeds the stupidity of the Guam statement. Race, had nothing to do with that. Plus, there were blacks among those who were headed for the Capitol, who walked through the Capitol. Where are you getting this, that they were going to kill everybody in the Capitol building? Wow. Zip ties, which they didn't use. By the way, they were such an overwhelming force and unarmed, but there was thousands of them. If they really wanted to, if that was their intent and their goal, they could have absolutely done it. Why didn't they do it?
They would have come in armed.
Yes, first of all, they would have been armed. Secondly, even unarmed, they could have overwhelmed that small police force that was there at the Capitol building. If that was their intent, they could have easily done that. They could have taken it over. Why didn't they then? If that's their goal,
yeah. I mean,
why didn't they?
The image I can take away from this is our friend Via Getty, that goofy look on his face carrying out the speaker's podium. I mean, that's what that was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
It's just, okay.
They were mostly, once they got in the Capitol building, screwing around, it seems to me.
There's no plan.
None. No. There was. I don't think there was. I don't think it was premeditated. I think once they got there might have been some agitators. There were some agitators in the group, and then other people probably got a little swept up in the moment.
I mean, that's what we've said from the beginning.
Yeah.
That agitators.
Yes.
Busted their way through.
Yes.
Up front, and then safety in numbers. Hey guys, let's all rush in and run around.
Yeah. I mentioned last week. You can see where once they got inside and they're free to move about the Capitol building, somebody thinks, hey, you know what would be funny is let's go sit at Nancy Pelosi's desk and take some selfies there, and then we'll post those. I mean, stupid? Yes. Should they have done it? Absolutely not. But you can see where they're just screwing around now at this point. They're going to take advantage of the situation. They didn't go to Nancy Pelosi's office looking to kill her. They were not trying to assassinate members of Congress. They were there to make a statement that, look, we want this thing done right. We want you to check into the election. Just wait, please, for certification. Give us a chance to prove our case.
And we didn't get that because of the storming of the Capitol.
Right. Yeah, exactly, because they were about to discuss all of that.
Which is the irony of all of this.
They were right in the middle of discussing Arizona.
Yeah. And we had many states to which evidence would be presented, which makes you think,
Isn't that weird?
Who are those agitators again?
Yeah. And right? And isn't it weird that it happened just at the point where, what they were there for, their goal was about to be attained.
Trump was still speaking at that moment. It wasn't like he wrapped up his speech and said, March.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, good times, but...
they were not there as part of a race war. Not at all.
And that's just the thing. You do one thing that the media doesn't like, that Democrats don't like, and they will paint the narrative for you. Yeah. They will tell your story, whether it's true or not, and that will become history. Just
exactly the way they did to Donald Trump when that false story came out about him in France, about going to the gravesite of our fallen soldiers, and that became something where he called them. I mean, they just speak it as if it's fact, and it's been debunked since then. They don't care about that. They just keep saying that Trump called them losers and suckers. No, he didn't. The people who were with him have all said the opposite of that. It's just
meanwhile, the guy who's gonna take the oath a week from tomorrow, is on tape saying what you guys are slow. You're a bunch of idiots. What did he call them? To their face.
Yeah, yes. Should play that again. It's agonizing. The whole thing is really agonizing. 888-900-3393. Let me tell you about Built Bar. Built Bar, they have delicious bars that you're going to like even maybe more than a candy bar. I was going to say as much as a candy bar, you might like these even better because part of the attraction is that each bar contains only 110 to 160 calories. So they're not going to mess up your diet. They're going to contribute to your healthy eating. Probably the healthiest thing you'll enjoy all day long. It's better tasting than your favorite candy bar. As a matter of fact, they have 18 different flavors. 18! Caramel brownie, which is my favorite. Love that thing. Cookies and cream, coconut almond, raspberry, peanut butter, mint brownie. These bars are covered in 100% chocolate. They're just really, really delicious. Something I didn't think could happen in a healthy bar like this. So if you've got a resolution to eat healthier, don't give up on that. Built Bar is the answer to help you maintain. Go to BuiltBar.com, use the promo code PAT20, and you'll get 20% off your next order. Promo code PAT20 for 20% off at BuiltBar.com.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
888-900-3393. And to make matters worse, we even have Arnold Schwarzenegger babbling about what happened last Wednesday. And people will say, well, see, Arnold Schwarzenegger thinks it was really bad. He's a Republican. Is he? Is he? Here's some of what Arnold had to say about the day.
As an immigrant to this country, I would like to say a few words to my fellow Americans and to our friends around the world about the events of recent days.
Now,
I grew up in Austria. I'm very aware of Kristallnacht, or the Night of Broken Glass.
Here we go. Good.
It was a night of rampage against the Jews carried out in 1938.
Thank you for the history.
The Nazi equivalent of the Proud Boys.
Oh my gosh!
Wednesday was the day of broken glass right here in the United States.
Pause it for a second. Good God. Okay. That was the Nazi equivalent of the Proud Boys.
Thank you.
No, it wasn't. No, it really wasn't. Name the similar event that the Proud Boys have pulled off, that they have committed. Tell me the violent, heinous act the Proud Boys are responsible for. God, this is just despicable stuff. All right, let him continue his babbling.
1938, at the Nazi equivalent
of the Proud Boys.
What about your dad, Arnold?
Wednesday was the day of broken glass right here in the United States.
Okay.
The broken glass was in the windows of the United States Capitol.
Yeah.
But the mob did not just shatter the windows of the Capitol.
They didn't?
They shattered the ideals we took for granted.
No, they really
didn't. They
didn't.
did not just break down the doors of the building that housed the American democracy.
We're not a democracy.
They trampled the very principles on which our country was founded.
Get down.
No.
Now, I grew up in the ruins of a country that suffered the loss of its democracy.
With your dad helping.
I was born in 1947, 2 years after the Second World War. Growing up, I was surrounded by broken men drinking away their guilt over their participation in the most evil regime in history.
Like my dad.
Not all of them were rabid anti-Semites or Nazis. Many just went along, step by step, down the road.
Down the road.
They were the people next door.
Door.
Now,
door only has one syllable.
I've never shared this so
just
publicly because it is
one
a
syllable
painful
word.
memory.
Door.
But my father would come home drunk once or twice a week, and he would scream and hit us and scare my mother. I did not hold him totally responsible because our neighbor was doing the same thing to his family.
Oh, well then that
and so was the next neighbor over.
Sure.
Oh, wow.
I heard it with my own ears and saw it with my own eyes. They were in physical pain from the shrapnel in their bodies.
Pause it for a second. So we're just supposed to say, okay, yeah, you didn't blame your dad because everybody was doing it? Oh. Okay. So as long as everybody's abusing their wife and children, you're not going to hold them completely responsible for that. Everybody does it. Strange. This is just a bizarre video.
Yeah. I think he's just trying to cleanse his own soul.
Yeah. So let's see this.
They were in physical pain from the shrapnel in their bodies and in emotional pain from what they saw or did. It all started with lies and lies and lies and intolerance. So being from Europe, I have seen firsthand how things can spin out of control. I know there is a fear in this country and all over the world that something like this could happen right here. Now, I do not believe it is, but
you're saying it just did happen, aren't you?
We must be aware of the dire consequences of selfishness and cynicism. President Trump sought to overturn the results of an election, and of a fair election. He sought a coup by misleading people with lies.
Yeah.
My father and our neighbors were misled also with lies.
Okay.
And I know where such lies lead. President Trump is a failed leader.
Wow.
He will go down in history as the worst president ever. The good thing is that he soon will be as irrelevant as an old tweet.
Or you.
But what are we to make of those elected officials who have enabled his lies and his treachery? I will remind them of what Teddy Roosevelt said.
Another great
Patriotism
leader.
means to stand by the country. It does not mean to stand by the president. John F. Kennedy wrote a book called Profiles in Courage.
He did. That's true.
A number of members of my own party, because of their own spinelessness, would never see their names in such a book, I guarantee you. They're complicit with those who carried the flag of self-righteous insurrection into the Capitol. But it did not work. Our democracy held firm. Within hours, the Senate and the House of Representatives were doing the people's business and certifying the election of President-elect Biden. What a great display of democracy.
Yeah, it's not democracy.
No. I grew up
pause it for a second. I mean, the very thing he's talking about was they were trying to stop the process of seating and certifying the electors. You know, those are people, representatives that have been selected to make that decision for us. That right there is the very definition of a republic, not a democracy, which you seem to be so firmly defending. This is, it's despicable what's happening here. Jeez. I mean, all of Hollywood, we're supposed to, you know, we love and admire these people so much that I guess we're supposed to just soak in every last word that they say, every single lie that they tell. Ugh. Arnold, go back to doing terrible movies. Or don't. No. Yeah, you're right.
We're good.
You're right. Well, we might be okay with where it is right now.
He should have quit after Kindergarten Cop. I mean, that's his...
Kindergarten Cop was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, his nadir.
Yeah, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So there you go.
That's not a tumor. That's what that... Didn't that come from Kindergarten Cop?
That came from that as well.
I believe it did, yeah.
So did the great line, who is your daddy and what does he do? That's another one. There's
who is your daddy and what does he do?
Yeah, he's got a pet ferret that he brings to the class. I'm telling you, it's the greatest Arnold movie by far.
Really? You think better than Terminator?
I think better than
the first Terminator.
We're gonna say
True Lies. What about True Lies?
We're gonna say we got 3. Okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Kindergarten Cop, True Lies.
Yeah.
The first Terminator.
Yeah. Total Recall was good too.
Oh, Total Recall.
But he should have quit after Kindergarten Cop because that was the most recent. It's been nothing since.
It's been downhill ever
I think
since.
he's what it was. Was he a governor or something or whatever?
I think he had 2 terms as well, right? Didn't he win two terms, governor of California?
I don't know. They replaced him after Gray Davis got recalled, right?
Yeah.
Anyhow, that's the man who they thought they were going to change the Constitution for so he could become president. Don't think so.
Yeah, no. I mean, Arnold's never really been. I mean, he's certainly not a conservative. There's no question of that. But he's not even a Republican.
I was going to say, has he officially left the Republican Party?
No, he said, the people in my own party.
My own party, yes. We do have some sad news to report, though, on that Rhino front. Colin Powell.
Oh, finally.
That's
actually happy news to me. I'm so tired of him masquerading as a Republican that he finally made it official and admitted, I'm a Democrat. I've just been marauding.
And when you see that story and it's slugged 2021, you think this really could have been written at any time over the last 20 years.
Yeah, could have been 2001.
Seriously.
The guy has been a Democrat, just like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I mean, don't... stop pretending. I don't understand why.
Yeah.
Why do you pretend to be a Republican when you're clearly not?
Get to the chopper, Colin. We're getting out of here. Sorry.
888-900-3393. More Pat Gray Unleashed coming up. Still no Parler, if you can believe it. And you probably can. They can't find anybody to host them on their servers. Amazon shut them down. Now, as I mentioned yesterday, they should sue.
They are.
And they are. That's great. I was happy to see later in the afternoon it broke that they are, in fact, suing for breach of contract. Well, yeah, they had to have had a contract with Amazon. You can't just drop somebody like that. You've got an agreement with them. So maybe they'll get some relief. I hope so from the court system, but geez, who knows?
It might be too late at that point.
Yeah. So Parler still in oblivion. Yeah. Unbelievable. And we're still on Twitter. Got some tweets here. Dumb give gum tweets. I'm getting mixed messages. Are we not supposed to riot until we get what we want now?
Right. I thought that was how we do things now.
Yeah, right?
Okay.
That they're not going to quit, nor should they, I believe were the words of our vice president to be. Kara 3022 tweets, when foreign leaders are condemning the silencing of speech, it shows even they agree with Reagan. If we lose freedom here, there is no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth. Yep. From the Steve 42, when Germany lectures you on freedom, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Texas Lori D, only in 2021 would I agree with the ACLU. Jeffy's 18 Spoons. I believe Hank Johnson's brain tipped over and capsized. DMXDM, the only thing more stupid than Hank Johnson is any person who voted for Hank Johnson and continues to vote for the guy over and over and over again. Coffee Lover M. If everyone stormed the Capitol Gallery where Hank Johnson was hiding, would it have tipped over and capsized?
You know who Barry Loudermilk is, right? Congressman,
yes,
big-time conservative.
From Georgia.
Yeah. So my dad used to live in Hank Johnson's district, and then they redistricted, and he ended up in Barry Loudermilk's district, which is just like, you talk about pendulum swing.
Yeah, that's huge. That's a big difference.
It's fun.
Big difference. I don't understand how nobody is challenging the narrative right now that the people who went to the Capitol were bent on murder. They're killing people, assassinating people. I mean, they chanted about hanging Mike Pence, but I absolutely don't believe anybody there planned to actually carry that out. How many times have they just excused everything that's been said by Antifa? Let's see. In fact, I might have that chant here somewhere. No borders, no wall. No USA at all. No border, no wall. No USA at all. Then they chanted, the only kind of cop is, what's the only good cop? A dead cop? That chant. All of that has been overlooked. That didn't mean a thing.
No.
But because a group of idiots chanted hang Mike Pence, they really meant to do that. That's what they were there to do.
Yeah, this summer Mike Lee proposed a referendum, a non-binding resolution, whatever it's called, just to condemn this kind of mob violence that we were seeing from BLM and Antifa in our city streets. Mm-hmm. The Democrats pushed back. No, we're not even going to support something that is non-binding just to condemn the violence. And now we've got to do everything in our power and then some to drum these people out of society. It's truly pathetic.
Well, they built gallows. Obviously, they were going to use them. Yeah, where were you when they built a guillotine and took that to Jeff Bezos' house multiple times, actually threatening to cut his head off? That didn't mean anything to you. Gallows, guillotines, these are symbolic gestures. Could the left carry it out? Yes, I think far more likely than the right to be doing that. These hateful bastards on the left
and hypocrites.
Yeah,
where was the deplatforming of BLM accounts and Antifa accounts?
There wasn't any,
to this day, are still active and coordinating together out in the open.
Yeah, he's been cut off. The president of the United States been cut off from supporters on email. Even the email company has suspended Trump's service.
Oh, I'm telling you, man.
Wow. According to a string of Twitter posts by from Dave Lee, a correspondent for Financial Times, an email provider called Campaign Monitor has suspended the campaign's account as of last Thursday. A statement from the company confirmed the account had been suspended, but didn't indicate the reason. So even his email is being shut down. Now we've got this editorial from Mozilla. These are the people who designed the Firefox browser.
The web browser, yeah.
There's no question social media played a role in the siege and takeover of the U.S. Capitol on January 6th. Since then, there has been significant focus on the deplatforming of President Donald Trump. By all means, the question of when to deplatform a head of state is a critical one, among many that must be addressed. When should platforms make these decisions? Is that decision-making power theirs alone? But as reprehensible as the actions of Donald Trump are, the rampant use of the internet to foment violence and hate and reinforce white supremacy is about more than any one personality. Donald Trump is certainly not the first politician to exploit the architecture of the internet in this way, and he won't be the last. We need solutions that don't start until after untold damage has been done. Changing these disastrous dynamics requires more than just the temporary silencing or permanent removal of bad actors from social media platforms.
Uh-oh.
What else are you going to do?
Well, I don't know.
I guess we need to do additional and precise specific actions like reveal who is paying for advertisements, how much they're paying, and who's being targeted.
Wow.
Commit to meaningful transparency of platform algorithms so we know how and what content is being amplified to whom and the associated impact. Turn on by default the tools to amplify factual voices over disinformation. And who gets to judge that?
Dangerous, man.
Work with independent researchers to facilitate in-depth studies of the platform's impact on people and our societies and what we can do to improve things. These are the actions the platforms can and should commit to today. The answer is not to do away with the internet, but to build a better one that can withstand and gird against these type of challenges.
Make it stop.
This is how we can begin to do that. This is just really chilling stuff.
All right, so noted. Chrome really and chilling. Firefox.
Yeah, out.
Oh, my goodness. By the way, though, good news, Twitter has lost $5 billion in market share since Friday.
Really? That is good news.
I mean, that's how you do it. That's the only way you can do it.
Right.
And
hit him in the pocketbook.
And I will say that I saw that, I didn't take the 5 billion number and compare it with another headline. I saw that they've lost 10% of their value, but I've lost about 10% of my followers on Twitter. So,
do we know how many overall?
I don't know.
I haven't seen any number of that.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. But you lose 10% and counting every day. It's just chunk.
Right.
It's
people
fun.
Leaving and jumping over to Parler. Well, there's nowhere to jump right now.
Exactly. All of these people that deactivate. I was thinking about this today. All these people that deactivated their Twitter accounts jumped over to Parler. Now can't get into Parler. Are they just kind of hanging out, waiting?
Or are you going back to Twitter?
What a nightmare.
Yeah. Also, in a move, some consider one of the most far-reaching social policy moves in the corporate world. The National Association of Realtors, by the way, only realtors can be members of the National Association of Realtors. They called the nation's largest trade organization. They've revised their professional ethics code to ban, quote, hate speech and harassing speech, unquote, by its 1.4 million members. So they're banning realtor hate speech?
Wait, what?
At work or anywhere, 24/7. Okay. The sweeping prohibition applies to association members 24/7, covering all communication, private and professional.
No.
Written and spoken.
Oh, what?
Online and offline. Gotta be kidding me.
Wow, this is scary.
Punishment could top out at a maximum fine of $15,000 and expulsion from the organization. Oh, no, you don't want to be banned or expelled from the National Association of Realtors.
From NAR?
Yeah, you don't want that. Mary Wagner, a Buffalo real estate agent who is white and lesbian, says the move announced in November fits her vision for creating a fairer society. I bet it does.
Oh, well, then that's good. As long as it fits.
If it's fair to Mary.
Yeah, Mary.
Mary. Don't you know me?
No.
Don't you know me, Mary?
She's definitely working for Potter.
She predicts thousands of complaints this year, given the Realtor Association's enormous size and the overheated climate of social media. I was thrilled to hear it, she said. I think it's long overdue. Yeah. Yep. Fascism in this country.
Long overdue.
Overdue.
Got to get to the fascism.
Finally, we've got people oppressing this society as a whole. How long have we waited for it?
Oh.
So you can't really say anything without losing your job or your livelihood in any walk of life. Maybe you can't even... We should make a rule where you can't even leave your home if you've committed one of these offenses.
Wait. I thought we already lived in a country where you can't leave your home
that's kind of
without
true.
committing one of these offenses.
Jeez. Oh. All right, let me take a minute and tell you about Keeps. If you've noticed your hair is not looking as full as it used to, it's really not fun to lose your hair. So let's talk about the options. You can go to your doctor for a hair loss treatment prescription, then go to the pharmacy, try not to go broke, just trying to avoid going bald, or you can try Keeps from the comfort of your lazy boy recliner. You'll get the same doctor-recommended, FDA-approved hair loss treatment, but Keeps offers the generic version, so they save you about 50% of the cost right there. And it's all done online. So you just go online, keeps.com/Pat, answer some questions, take a few pictures of your hair, and then post those. And then a licensed doctor will recommend the right hair loss treatment for you. All from the comfort and privacy of your own home. Plus, we're going to get you started with a special deal. In addition to these being the generic versions that save you 50%, we're going to knock another 50% off. Go to keeps.com/Pat and get 50% off your first order. 50% off. Keeps.com/Pat. That's keeps.com/Pat.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
So the big NAR decision, the National Association of Realtors.
Wait, the NAR?
Uh-huh. NAR, N-A-R.
Okay. I thought you said something else.
It's alarmed other real estate agents and also some legal and ethics experts who say the hate speech ban's vagueness is an invitation to censor controversial political opinions. You think? Especially on race and gender. While that's not the association's stated intention, the skeptics say their fears are justified by the hyperactive cancel culture online that has jettisoned workers for posting "All Lives Matter" or objecting to gay marriage. The dam has broken, and other organizations will look at this. According to Robert Fole, professor of business ethics and business law at Ohio University, if this is good for real estate agents, why not attorneys? Why not doctors? They're going to be pressured to do what the National Association of Realtors has done. And that pressure is going to be very real. Because what organization wants to argue they should allow hate speech by their members?
So true. This is going to spread.
It sure is. You know, it's a pretty easy defense, though, to say, look, I'm not going to police what my employees do in their spare time. If they are doing their job, if they're not being hateful at work, if they're treating their employees with respect, they're going to have a job. I'm not going to join this fascist movement. Does anybody have the giblets to actually come out and say that? Doesn't look like it. We'll see, though.
And who's ratting on them, though, I guess, is the... You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like in their speech, because these things are not just written, it can also be spoken. So I guess the person you're talking to would have to go complain to the National Association of Realtors because only realtors are members of the National Association
of
Realtors.
Right?
Yeah, the power. They have a lot of power. And 1.4 million members.
And who's just like you said a second ago, like who's determining what is hateful?
Yeah.
I mean, what?
Yeah.
What a world we have constructed.
And why would the National Association of Realtors be the leader in this?
I was going to say, they're out front on this, huh?
Like, what are you doing?
You know, you've mocked them for decades.
Yes.
And it turns out that when they're marching towards civilized society and all these PC warriors are behind them, you know who's holding the torch, leading the march? The National Association of Realtors.
Right.
Boy, they hid in the light right in front of us. We didn't see them coming. We were just mocking them.
And now they're exacting their revenge on humanity. Pretty amazing. So, yeah, I don't know what's going to qualify as hate speech. Will it be, I mean, you know it's going to be political. You know it's going to be racial. It will be gender related.
Yeah.
But will it also get into whether or not you like somebody's home, or whether or not somebody's home should be sold for a certain price? Or will it also involve their professional opinions? I don't know. Is it hateful to say, that's a dumpy house, you shouldn't buy it? If I tell that to my client, there's leaky roof, there's their paint job is outdated, countertops are outdated.
Well, you didn't say that at the other house,
right?
Over in the white neighborhood.
So is that hate speech? Is it because a black family lives there? I mean, this could get into such a murky area. It's already there. I mean, I don't think that's even been used yet. It's already there.
Target individual after individual, so you're not going to hear about these cases. It's just going to become a way of life, and this is going to become a boilerplate template for the ADA or the AMA and all these professional groups.
NCAA.
Yeah, well, they're already there. You know.
Yeah, I know. They always are. 888-900-3393. More Pat Gray Unleashed coming up. Listen to this convoluted thinking. I don't even know how you get here. It is so bizarre what these left-wing morons are babbling right now. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi claimed over the weekend rioters who stormed the U.S. Capitol last week were driven to engage in the deadly violence by their whiteness. Okay. During an online video conference with her San Francisco constituents, Pelosi invoked the coronavirus pandemic and the Christian feast of Epiphany to make a point about the role of race in the attack on the Capitol. When that assault was taking place on the Capitol, 3,865 people in our country died of the coronavirus. Many of them people of color, because of the injustice of it all. What? So, if they hadn't gone to the Capitol, the people wouldn't have died of coronavirus? I don't know how these two things fit together. The next day, she says, on Thursday, 4,000 people died of the coronavirus. Why? Because decisions were made at the highest level months before in the Oval Office of denial, distortion, delay, calling it a hoax. Huh. Okay. And somehow that's a racial issue because more blacks percentage-wise than whites get this? How is that a thing of whiteness? Are white people specifically giving black people coronavirus? She says, I thought it was going to be an epiphany for those who were in opposition of our democracy. We don't have a democracy. No. To see the light. Instead, it was an epiphany for the world to see that there are people in our country, led by this president for the moment, who have chosen their whiteness over democracy. That's what this is about. What? Do you understand this? I don't understand this line of thinking at all. What does whiteness have to do with it? The incoming president is white, so they're trying to prevent him from taking office. That's what that was about last Wednesday. They were trying to stop the certification of the electors.
Were they?
Yeah.
Were they? Or are they trying to stop the first black female president from happening?
Yeah, well, she's not going to be president. Well, yet.
Inevitably.
She's vice president.
Inevitably.
It's crazy. I don't even. I can't.
They're going to make everything race, man.
It is.
They're going to make everything.
Everything is about race.
They're going to turn into race. And notice this took a couple of days though for them to get that talking point churned out. They're like, okay,
how do we make this into race?
Yeah.
Huh. Oh, I know. More people are getting coronavirus, and it was a lot of white people that raced up the Capitol steps. So.
And Hank Johnson did his part in making this about race, talking about how they were going to hang him from the gallery there. And then you talked about are white people giving black people COVID? Apparently so. That's the implication in the media right now, that a congresswoman, a black congresswoman, got COVID after sheltering in place with Republicans. This kind of headline is all over the place, Pat. Look at that.
Democratic congresswoman reveals she has tested positive for COVID after sheltering from the MAGA mob with Republicans who refuse to wear masks amid the warning it could be a super spreader event.
There's so many assumptions here. I haven't heard of any of these maskless Republican congressmen having tested positive before she did.
Right, I haven't either.
I mean, it's madness. And even Fox News on the radio this morning driving in did that same narrative with that headline. Well, after sheltering in place with maskless Republican congressmen.
Oh, my gosh.
Are you for real?
Wow.
So anyway, apparently, this and she's always wearing masks, right? This black congresswoman in question. Wow, I guess they didn't do a good enough job protecting you.
No, but the masks, depending on which one you're wearing, Keith, that's to protect others. That's so you're protecting them from you with your mask. I think. I think that's how it works. So I don't know. I'm a little confused on the whole mask thing right now because studies have shown it really doesn't help almost at all. So
I will say there are more and more souls making their way through society, at least in my world, sans mask. And it's a beautiful thing to see. Oh my gosh, you have a face? Oh, look, I can see how you're reacting to what I'm saying. Unbelievable.
I know, you almost forget what that's like now.
Seriously. And it's happening more and more.
888-900-3393 and at Pat Unleashed on Twitter so far. Hoping to get Parler back up and running, and then when it does, we're going to hop over there. Maybe I don't know if we'll keep the Twitter account. I don't know. Should we? Or
I don't know. I'm kind of torn on that myself.
I am too.
It was nice to see you, Mr. Parler, making a cameo on Twitter yesterday. Set the record straight on a very important topic.
Yeah, I forget what it was.
What was East Asia, Eurasia.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So
somebody had a really good comment about I forget now. Who are we at war with? East Asia or Eurasia? I had to remind them.
I'll tell you exactly what you said. If, this Explorer browser, the only one not implicated yet, would respond, Explorer's the worst. Okay.
You're not talking about Microsoft Explorer.
Oh, yeah.
Are you being the worst? Huh.
The guy who created this, who's just laughing about the vaccine. Oh, it's so fine. Anyway, you said East Asia. We have never been at war with Eurasia. They have always been our allies. And remember, war is peace. Good stuff.
888-900-3393. So also Antifa has attacked Trump supporters in San Diego.
Wait, mostly peaceful?
Mostly peaceful. Antifa. Yeah, they're mainly an idea, right? In fact, I think they're only an idea. But this idea was attacking Trump supporters in San Diego, and here's some proof of that, actually. A couple of bleeps there.
The Trump people are just standing there, like literally just standing there.
Oh my! And now they're getting sprayed. Douchebags. Okay, I suppose that's the fault of the Trump supporters, though. They were standing there.
Wow, it's amazing restraint. Oh my gosh,
Yeah, no
throwing
kidding.
chairs.
Jeez. These little cowardly douchebags. Because they've got them vastly outnumbered. They're brave enough to stand there and throw things at them. That's despicable. Just despicable. One of them, by the way, was holding a sign that said Ashley Babbitt deserved it. So there's the loving, tolerant Antifa, the loving, tolerant, inclusive left. Can you imagine if anybody on the right had held a sign like that about Breonna Taylor, about anybody who's been shot by police? And by the way, how come this police shooting is perfectly fine to them?
That thought has occurred to me. Not only in that realm, but just firearms in general being used. Oh my gosh, in the people's house? That has not come out of a Democrat's mouth.
No, and Ashley Babbitt shot down unarmed while protesting. Why is that okay to them? I thought that's exactly what the whole movement was all about for Black Lives Matter. I guess, but she's a white life, so she doesn't matter, I guess. Because BLM protests every single shooting the exact same way, regardless of the circumstances. Well, shouldn't this be a problem for them? No, they love this. They love the fact that Ashley Babbitt was shot. They're mocking her. They're belittling her. And everybody on the right. And it seems perfectly justified to him.
Just imagine if this were, say, downtown Minneapolis 7 months ago, and you're a business owner and you're defending your property, and Ashley Babbitt tries to climb through the window and gets shot dead by a business owner defending his or her property.
Well, he'd be
excessive force. She's just protesting. She was unarmed. What are you doing, man?
Unarmed. She was just she was just stepping through the window. That's all she was doing. Wasn't threatening anybody.
Say her name. Like, literally, that's what they would be doing.
Yes,
say her name. Ashley Babbitt. Say it.
And by the way, Drew Brees was wearing a T-shirt the other day. Got photographed wearing a Say Her Name T-shirt.
Oops.
There it is. Hashtag Say Her Name. So because it happened after Ashley Babbitt and what he said about kneeling and then quickly retracted, everybody thought, oh, is he talking about Ashley Babbitt? Well, why not?
That jerk.
Why not?
It was an old photo.
An old photo. Yeah.
From Breonna Taylor.
Breonna Taylor shooting.
Man, people just want to be offended. They want to be pissed off.
So desperately.
Give me something to rage tweet about from my parents' basement. Yeah. Give me meaning for the day. Ugh.
Yeah, it's pathetic. It's really pathetic. Hank Johnson actually said it was a good thing that the officer shot her because apparently that stopped the mob. Once she got shot, that stopped the momentum.
Right.
And he's applauding the move.
But if there were Nikes on the other side of the glass sitting with Hank Johnson, then it would have been cool. Okay.
Yeah. I guess. And it'd be interesting to see if it was a black Trump supporter.
Right.
A black female Trump supporter. Would that make any difference?
People are
It's a world gone mad.
Yep.
And the hypocrisy of all of this is just, it's impossible to take. Makes you so angry just to think of it. Very difficult to talk about.
Yeah, and yesterday, Glenn urged people don't hide in a bubble from all of this. Now's the time to take a stand. I don't know, man. Bubbles are pretty inviting right now.
They are. A lot of people are climbing into them, too. I keep hearing it. Yeah, I'm just not paying attention to it because it's just too much.
And what do you take into that bubble with you, though? Because, they're everywhere. It's infiltrated, just like we just said. NFL, right? You can't have your football in there without your BLM commercial every break.
Right.
What is left unscarred, uncharred as they burn down the country?
Not much.
Oh, my goodness.
Even Bill Belichick was swept up in all of this because he was supposed to receive the Presidential Medal of Honor from Trump, but because Trump is so radioactive right now, he's turned down the offer to receive the Presidential Medal of Freedom. It's incredible how everything has to be political. Everything.
Yeah.
So he said he'll not be accepting the nation's highest civilian honor from President Trump. They're good friends, too. And he has talked about how he's got his support and his loyalty because they're good friends. They've known each other for a long time, and he likes him. But he released a statement yesterday. Recently, I was offered the opportunity to receive the Presidential Medal of Freedom, which I was flattered by out of respect for the honor, for what the honor represents, and admiration for prior recipients. Subsequently, the tragic events of last week occurred, and the decision has been made not to move forward with the award. So now he can't get it because it comes from Trump, and everybody would go ballistic if he accepted that award. How do you ever get past this kind of divisiveness? It's ridiculous what is happening right now. 888-900-3393. Also at Pat Unleashed on Twitter. Let me tell you about something very, very positive, and that would be dinner. If not tonight, dinner very soon, after you order your Omaha Steaks.
Oh, yeah.
You ever wondered what makes Omaha Steaks so incredibly good? Well, it's the aging process. Omaha Steaks ages their steaks at least 21 days because that's the sweet spot. It's where the magic happens. And you could try those mouth-watering steaks in the Butcher's Best Sellers Grill Pack. It includes 4 of their iconic and fork-tender Butcher's Cut filet mignons.
I mean, seriously.
4 ultra-juicy burgers, 4 savory pork chops, desserts, the apple caramel tart.
Yeah.
So good. It is so good. And there's so much more included in this. Go to omahasteaks.com and enter Gray, Gray, into the search bar for a special price on this Butcher's Best Sellers package. Plus, you'll get 4 more chicken breasts and 4 more of those delicious burgers for free. Omaha Steaks, they've been the leader of gourmet steaks and food since 1917. No one comes close to matching the flavor, the tenderness, and the value of Omaha Steaks. Go to omahasteaks.com, type in the word Gray in the search bar, and order the Butcher's Best Seller Pack today. Don't forget, you'll get 4 free chicken breasts and 4 burgers. That's omahasteaks.com, keyword Gray. By the way, the national championship game last night, what a surprise.
Bloodbath.
Alabama crushed Ohio State, 52-24. So, did they have a single? I guess they did have one close game. It was Florida, 52-46, I think, was the score in the Florida game. Other than that, Alabama just devastated every team they played this year.
Well, as much as I am sick and tired of Alabama winning the national championship every year, at least some sort of normalcy from previous years.
At least they played a few games.
Held true.
Yeah.
You know, Alabama's the national champion again. Oh, something that we're used to finally in our society. Yay.
That and the fact that Ohio State, who they broke the rules for, they changed the rules for, shouldn't have even been there in the first place, did get in because they're Ohio State. And they got crushed for it. So there you go. Ending the 2020 football season. By the way, BYU wound up 11th overall.
Oh,
in the
was
AP.
that right?
Yeah, 11th. Where was Nebraska?
Wow. That was supposed to be my line. I was literally about to say that. Where's Nebraska on that list?
Yeah, they're not there.
Were they in the others receiving votes?
No, surprisingly, they're not. There's just no justice, Keith, for Nebraska this year. No justice.
Hey, we had
peace.
that listener one time who had that list of like all 200 schools.
Yeah.
Like the real power rankings.
Oh, yeah.
I'd like to see that.
I would like to see that as well.
I'd like to see where Nebraska finished.
Yeah.
70.
What was their record this year?
3-5, I think.
3-5. Okay.
Yeah, 3-4 and 5.
Again,
whatever. Another
indication of what a weird year it is.
Yeah.
How can the year be done when they're 3-5? It's bizarre. All right. 888-900-3393. Also at Pat Unleashed on Twitter. Nita Jansen tweets, "Don't worry, guys. By the year 2030, we won't need Realtors because we're going to build back better and own nothing."
No kidding.
Yeah, we'll be happy in the Great Reset. That'll be great. Just too muck and fudge. This Asia is your Asia. This Asia is my Asia. Oh, okay, because we're doing the 1984 Eurasia thing. Mandabro and constitutional conservative. If war is peace and protests are mostly peaceful, does that mean the U.S. mostly peaceful peace engagement from 1861 to 1865 was just a couple of summers of love? Yeah, it pretty much does. Yep. All right, let's go to Dan in Pennsylvania. Dan, are you a realtor? Dan?
Yes.
Yes. And so you're a member of the National Association of Realtors?
Yep, a member of the National Association and the State Association and the local association. You have to be a member of all three.
Oh, you do? Wow.
Yes.
Do you have to pay dues to all three, or is it just one?
You have to pay dues. You have to pay dues to all three, and the reason why is monumental kind of change in the code of ethics is because in order to have for a realtor to have the reason why you're becoming a realtor affiliated with them is because they own the MLSs that have access to all the data in order to market the properties and to go find the properties.
The National Association of Realtors owns that?
Well, the local ones do, and the local ones are part of the state ones, which are part of the national ones. So in de facto, in order for us to join to be a part of the MLS and get the access, we have to join the local, state, and national association. So it's you have no other means to accessing those MLSs unless you do join. And so then, the question about how's everyone going to get, the nervousness about this is because
this being, if I could explain for those who may not have been around about half an hour ago, this being the fact that the National Association of Realtors is going to punish, fine, and maybe even remove all realtors who commit hate speech, right? Either written or spoken, whatever they just deem as hate speech, they could be thrown out of the association. So.
Right, and NAR is a very liberal organization, and they came out initially when they announced this and said basically this is not the intent is not to round everybody up. The intent is just to kind of get the few, and but it was clearly it's up to anyone can file a complaint. So anyone in the public, any other realtors, and that's the key is that. Of complying, why you're going to be forced to comply and really be censored is because in our state there's 100,000 realtors, and so of that, every one of them is my competitor. So I could be friends on, say, Facebook, and just post something funny or something conservative in nature, and be a friend of a competitor, but that competitor would turn me in.
Right.
And could do so anonymously.
Wow.
And then an investigation ensues, and then that investigation is public. So it's you're tagged, and then they also have an alliance with the state's real estate commissions. So if you're tagged with an NAR ethics, that's going to go then to your state licensing board to review then.
So,
in fact, the state licensing boards now are all encouraging people now on their websites to turn people in regarding to file complaints regarding any kind of, and I put in quotes, discrimination.
Amazing. So this is pretty chilling for all realtors, right? Especially any conservative realtor. If this is a very liberal group, they're going to be looking out much more for conservative speech or support for Trump, which is going to be deemed racist and hateful. And then you might be thrown completely out of the organization, right?
That's the threat, and not just thrown out, but even financially, because they can fine you. The association can actually fine you. And if they kick you out of the association,
then you have no access to the MLSs.
Over.
Yeah, that's
right. Your career's over.
Amazing. That's outrageous.
I think it was a warning flag when they said,
Dan.
We're not trying to round people up. If you have to say that.
Yeah, then. That's a warning flag right there. And will this be the only organization to do something like this?
No.
Absolutely not. This is just the beginning. Just to emphasize the point we just made about everything being turned into race. CNN's banner right now on a story of COVID. Coronavirus rages in California. Communities of color most impacted. So is the virus racist as well? And it's just attacking minorities over white people? How do you make that into a racist issue? Amazing. Just absolutely amazing.
And that's how they will determine where funds go and who they're going to help. I mean, Joe Biden was just saying it in a speech over the weekend about how, we're going to help rebuild and we're going to help minorities. It really sounded like
like they're not going to help white people?
Yeah, it didn't sound like white.
Our focus will be on small businesses on Main Street
that
aren't wealthy and well-connected, that are facing real economic hardships through no fault of their own. Our priority will be Black, Latino, Asian, and Native American-owned small businesses, women-owned businesses.
Wait, what?
And finally, having equal access to resources needed to reopen and rebuild.
Equal access? What about equal protection,
We're going to make a concerted effort to help small businesses in low-income communities, in big cities, small towns, rural communities that have faced systemic barriers to relief. Think of the mom-and-pop owner with a couple of employees.
Yeah, but
can't
only
pick up the
the
phone
minority
and call
ones.
the banker.
Correct.
Who doesn't have a lawyer, an accountant,
right,
to help them through this complicated process. To know if they're even qualified, or who simply didn't know where this relief is available in the first place.
Right, because they can't be expected to know like
we were trying to bring,
a white person would.
Brought Detroit back off its knees.
Isn't that what he's saying?
As we saw in this morning's job report, restaurants, bars, and hospitality industry have been slammed
by the virus. Yeah, yep.
We're going to direct relief to those businesses and others that have been so badly hit the hardest. We owe them that support to help them get through the other side of this crisis.
Okay, so there you go. Whitey need not apply. Don't worry about it. Okay, especially if you're a white man. I think there might be some white women involved. If you have a business and you're a white woman, you might be included with the minorities.
If they're gay.
Oh, especially if they're gay, yeah.
You missed that caveat there. Yeah. 8 million Americans. Because remember, we're the haters for talking about the economic impacts of the shutdowns. But there was 8 million Americans have fallen into poverty since this summer. Wow, who could have seen that coming?
I know. I don't know. Us, everybody, all of us saw it coming. And we were decrying it the whole time. Stop with the lockdown. Stop it.
And only half the jobs have rebounded, have come back from the lockdowns. I mean, it's madness. And what do they say? Just based on unemployment alone, an extra 1 million deaths will result from this over the next several years. Because you can't have health insurance if you don't have a job.
Are you exaggerating? I have a story here, and the headline reads, you just said 1 million people are going to die because of the loss of jobs. It's 900,000 excess deaths. Nice try, Keith. Way to inflate the figure.
I colored the news there. Yeah, you're right.
900,000 excess deaths expected over the next 15 years from the pandemic, rise in unemployment alone. That's not to say anything about mental health.
Right.
Abuse.
Oh, yeah, the stress.
All of the factors that go into this.
And think of your kids. Jeez. Your kids who can't go and associate it. And if they do get to go to school, they have to sit around in masks all day.
Yeah.
It's madness.
Breathing their own CO2.
There
it's
are
great.
So many ways we are destroying our society. It's sad. That's my declaration. It's sad! !
Somewhat of an understatement.
Yeah.
Even with the exclamation point.
Yeah, but since it's in memory of Trump being on Twitter.
Okay.
Sad! ! We are a stupid collection of people.
Yeah, we are. Yes, because we've allowed this to happen.
Yes.
We didn't put a stop to it years ago when we should have. I mean, the unforeseen consequences that have overtaken us are immense. But so are the ones that we did foresee, and we should have stood up a long time ago. But the spin on everything that's happening right now is pretty amazing. Nancy Pelosi was just talking to a CBS reporter. And this CBS reporter, for some reason, got a wild hair and decided to push her a little bit on, who's responsible for delaying the relief to the American people? Who obstructed that COVID relief? Check this out.
When we can't, we must stand our ground, but we have a responsibility to try.
You, yourself, are not known as a person who compromises.
No, I am. I compromise. We want to get the job done. I'm mischaracterized by the Republicans that way, but that's a tactic that they use. No, we want results for the American people.
What about the COVID relief package?
Yeah.
What about
that was held up for 8 months?
Thank you, Leslie.
But that was their obstruction. I understand.
No, it wasn't.
But their obstruction.
No, it wasn't.
Their obstruction.
No, yours too.
Thank you.
No, it wasn't obstruction.
You held out for 8 months.
No, we held it up because there was no respect for our heroes, our state and local healthcare workers, police and fire, our first responders, our sanitation, transportation, food
sanitation
workers,
and
our
food
teachers,
workers
our teachers. They would not go down that path.
There's a member of your caucus who said specifically that we look like obstructionists and it was a mistake.
But I don't remember anybody saying that. And they may have.
Well, then they must not have, if you don't remember it.
It wasn't a mistake, and I would not, and nobody expects me to support something that solidifies injustice in our country.
Wow. She just maintained, though. She did not back down. She never does. She never admits to, of course, any sort of mistake. And she made a terrible mistake holding up this relief package.
Well, did she?
For 8 months.
Did she make a mistake, though? Because they just were able to get 2 Senate seats out of Georgia by saying, hey, we're going to get you those checks.
That's true.
It's got to give us a Democrat Senate.
To Leslie Stahl's credit, though, she at least pushed her on it.
Absolutely.
She pushed her. And that usually doesn't happen, especially not from CBS. I mean, nobody pushes Nancy Pelosi like that. That's amazing. 888-900-3393. Also at Pat Unleashed on Twitter. Then we've got AOC speaking out on the Capitol Hill riot. Here's what she had to say about it.
And I do not believe that perhaps my colleagues weren't in that room. Perhaps my colleagues were not fully present for the events on Wednesday.
Yeah.
But we came close to half of the House nearly dying.
Oh my God. Stop it!
A foreign head of state, if another head of state came in and ordered an attack on the United States Congress, would we say that should not be prosecuted? Would we say that there should be absolutely no response to that?
So now half the Congress came close to dying. In what way? Nobody was grabbing any member of Congress and strangling them. They didn't even have weapons, so I don't know what they were going to do. Were they going to strangle them to death?
They had flags.
They had
flagpoles.
Yeah, they could have beat them to death with flagpoles, I guess.
I don't know how you would maneuver that in tight quarters. I don't know how that would work, but that's what.
Let's keep in mind the person who died was one of the Trump supporters. Got shot by a police officer. Another police officer died. Nobody really knows what happened there. Some say he was hit with a fire extinguisher. Others say sprayed with the fire extinguisher and had some reaction to the chemicals. I don't know. I don't know what happened to the police officer. That remains a little bit unclear. But they are spinning this thing as if these were just a murderous mob hell-bent on killing anybody they could find.
The same party that released from prison en masse actual convicts under the guise of, well, we don't want them getting the COVID in here.
Right.
Right. Okay.
It's pathetic.
It is pathetic. I do have a follow-up to AOC. Explain to me how a garbage disposal works. I don't know.
Yeah, she doesn't know.
Remember, that was a wonder to
Why
her.
would you ask her that
when
she's never even seen
in my
one?
Sink?
I love that. But, I mean, in her defense, Garbage disposals have only been around since like 1954.
Right.
So it's pretty new. It's pretty new technology, and pretty unusual, pretty unique.
Yeah, my takeaway from that clip is that, oh crap, that's right, you're still in Congress. You only threatened to leave. So she was just realized. So she's got at least another 2 years hanging out in there.
Sure does.
Probably more like 5 decades.
All right, let me take a minute and tell you about Omega XL. If you've got other kinds of pain, I mean, the news is giving us pain in the head every single day. But if you've got some pain that's brought on by inflammation, there is something you can do to remedy that pain. It's Omega XL with the omega fatty acids that come from the pristine waters around New Zealand. This is backed by 35 years of clinical research. Omega XL attacks the inflammation and essentially has an off switch to it. So once the inflammation is turned off, then the pain goes away. Now, they told me when I first started taking it, give it about 2 to 3 weeks and you should see some real relief. After 1 week, I saw some real relief. After 2 weeks, the pain was just gone. So I love this stuff. To get you started, let's get you one. When you order one Omega XL bottle, we'll send you a second one for free. So you buy one, you get one free. It's omegaxl.com/Pat. That's omegaxl.com/Pat, or call 800-844-4888.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
888-933-93. Also at Pat Unleashed on Twitter. A little distracted because they've got a live shot on Fox News of Pierre, South Dakota right now with Kristi Noem, a man who I'm assuming is her husband, and then somebody on the far right. I don't know if that's her daughter. If that's her daughter looks older than she is. Can't be her daughter, right?
Yeah, I'm looking.
That can't be.
Let's see here.
Can't be her daughter. Anyway, she's going to make a State of the State address today. So
are they planning on annexing half the country? Is she going to announce plans for South Dakota?
I'm not sure I'd be opposed to that. To have her take over.
Come on down.
Come on.
Seriously.
Bring it.
I don't think that is her daughter, by the way.
Can't be, right? That can't be.
Because her kids they have blonde hair.
Okay.
Yes, I don't know who that is.
Is that her husband? You don't know that either, do you?
They're probably going to feature whatever this lady's going to talk about. It's probably going to be featured as my guest during the State of the State tonight.
Right, that's what it is.
And that's my prediction.
All right. Also, the Secretary of the Army says they're erecting a 7-foot non-scalable fence to protect the Capitol following the breach from last Wednesday. Now, I say...
What?
What?
Wait, how tall?
A 7-foot fence? How can you build that this quickly? And why would you build that around the Capitol building?
What do fences do? Barriers. What do they do?
They first of all, they insult people.
Sure.
Keith. They keep people out. And I don't know. Is this like the Berlin Wall you're erecting here?
So if there's something...
Are you trying to keep minorities out?
Right. That's what I heard. If there's something important to you that you want to protect, you should what?
Build a fence around it?
That makes no sense at all. I don't understand that logic at all.
I'm sorry. If you can't build a wall between nations, you certainly can't build a fence around the Capitol building.
I mean, hypocrisy isn't a good enough word anymore.
No, it isn't, because it's
we
just
need
so
a new
prevalent.
word that we can say on the air.
That's the thing. The English language isn't sufficient.
We're out of words, man.
To explain what's going on right now.
We need new ones.
Jeez.
It's like when Conan O'Brien wanted to say cuss words on the air, so he made up a word with Andy Richter, and it was crunk. So whenever they wanted to say a bad word on the air, they just said crunk. And that's where we're at to describe this society.
It's crunky.
It's krunktacular. Boy, we've elected a bunch of crunks, that's for sure.
There's no doubt about that. And it gets worse every day. I mean, just when you think, okay, it can't get worse than this, then it does.
Don't say it.
Yeah, please don't say it.
But seriously, we should have built a wall. We should have sealed our border before the sun set on September 11th, 2001. And when that didn't happen, you knew they weren't taking security serious for the greatest nation to ever exist.
Right.
But for them, at the Capitol, cool.
Isn't today the day, by the way, that the president is supposed to tour the wall on the southern border?
Like a flyover, yeah.
Yeah. And they're saying that they built 450 miles of new wall. Is that accurate? I want to know by the time he leaves office if that's accurate, because I've heard both sides of this, and the main thing I've heard for the last 3 years is that most of this wall, almost all of it, in fact, is replacement wall, which isn't nothing. You know, some of it did need to be replaced because it wasn't helping at all. It had decayed to the point or been broken down to the point where people just walk right through it. So a lot of the wall did need to be replaced. But if there's 450 miles of brand new wall, where walls didn't exist before,
right,
that's a major accomplishment. That's pretty good.
And I tell you how to get the rest of it built. You tell this Democrat Congress that we're about to move the Capitol building to Tucson, Arizona. You might want to...
Isn't that the truth?
Fix up
it's
the
absolutely
fences
true.
down there.
It's absolutely true. These hypocrites would then build the freaking wall. When their lives are on the line, okay, yes, get that wall up. By Thursday morning last week, they had started on this unscalable 7-foot fence. By Thursday morning. We have been neglecting the southern border for 40 years. In a matter of minutes, they had started on a wall being erected around the Capitol building. That is, I mean, if that doesn't tell you everything you need to know about the Congress, then I don't know what will. 888-900-3393. Also at Pat Unleashed on Twitter for now, as we await Parler being back up and running, which still hasn't happened. But they have launched a lawsuit against Amazon, which I think is great, for breach of contract. We'll see how that works out. Also, a Florida teacher just is facing felony child abuse charges right now after an incident involving face masks. Largo high school teacher Christina Rezitar allegedly sprayed disinfectant at her students because they weren't wearing their face masks properly. So they were wearing them, they just didn't have them on properly. I imagine they weren't covering the nose, so she sprayed them with disinfectant.
Oh, no, you didn't.
I mean, come on.
Oh,
Can we chill out a little bit on the mask thing? Could we please, for the love of heaven, just understand that masks are not the be-all and end-all to this virus. They're not protecting you from it. They're really not. And it's just stupid that a high school teacher is so swept up in believing masks are protecting her that she sprays students because she's so pissed off they're not wearing them the way she thinks they should be. I think it's really time to maybe educate the people on what the mask situation is. And this was brought on by people like Fauci, who in the beginning told us masks were useless, and then they were all important.
And then when he had the chance to show us in public how to wear a mask when you're among people who are sitting literally right next to you
on both sides.
Right, he's got the mask down. Hell, the person with him had a mask on.
Yeah.
And he's got it down, and he's like, oh, yeah, when I'm eating and drinking, forget it. And he wasn't doing anything. He was just laughing, telling doctor jokes or something stupid.
It's at a baseball game, wasn't it?
Yep. Washington Nationals opening night. Because I'm such a big Nationals fan. Okay, well, learn to throw a baseball. Ugh.
What do you mean? He threw out the first pitch, and it was one of the worst pitches of all time. There it is. Okay.
Just a bit outside. All four.
Yes, the guy's 80 years old. But,
I don't care. Look at me.
Terrible.
This is Fauci trying to throw at this camera.
I'm telling you, the Barack Obama toss was almost as bad.
I mean, looked like an athlete, the athlete that we know him to be.
Yeah, right.
Ugh.
Could have been in the NBA. Could have been a star in the NBA if he didn't turn to politics.
But you know what? He's a public servant, that Barack Obama.
Yeah, it meant more to him to serve the people. All right, 888-900-3393. All right, let's end the day on a happy Keith note. Keith loves these stupid animal videos. I don't know why, for the life of me.
Yeah, if you've ever wanted to see a kangaroo get punched in the chin.
Oh, I've always wanted to see that.
Watch this. That evil kangaroo has the dog in a headlock.
Oh, boy.
Owner comes up.
Kangaroos are mean.
Yep.
And the owner punched him right in the face.
That's it. Look at that. The kangaroo can't believe what just happened. Wait, what?
Wait, did you just hit me? Do you know I'm an animal?
Look at this.
Do you know I'm an animal and you can't do that?
It's so good, man. It's like, get off my dog.
Okay, that is really weird that the kangaroo was doing that to the dog in the first place.
Look at that, man. Now we're in the ring.
Boom! Oh! Gives him a right to the chin. That had to hurt because I bet that's a bony face the kangaroo has.
Right, and look at that kangaroo. It's like shell-shocked, man.
Yeah, doesn't do anything.
And the owner's just like, all right, back to the house. Let's go.
I don't know why kangaroos are so mean, but apparently there's more indication that they are, in fact.
They are creeps, man.
Yeah, they're mean.
They are freakish creatures.
I like geese. Geese are mean, too.
Yeah. Yeah, and then they poop all over the golf course.
Yeah.
You're trying to putt.
All over your pond area, maybe in your community. It's just, it's nasty.
Would you rather go to battle against a kangaroo or a goose?
I think a goose.
You think so?
I think a goose, yeah. I'll kick the goose across the street.
But he's got the little beak action going and the crazy flailing wings, man.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they do. And they start squawking. And it gets pretty frightening.
Yeah. That's a tough one.
All right. 888-900-3393. Also, some good news. 12-year-old just raised $42,000 for a homeless man who returned his grandma's wallet.
Wow.
How cool is that? So there are still some good things happening in this world.
That's good to know.
12-year-old girl helped out a homeless man who returned her grandmother's lost wallet by creating a GoFundMe page that has raised more than $42,000 for him and others in his situation. The man, Sean Curry, was scrounging for food through a dumpster behind a San Rafael, California coffee shop in December when he saw a wallet belonging to 80-year-old Evelyn Topper. Curry, who's been homeless on and off over the years, admitted that he thought about using the cards at first, but he ultimately decided to call Topper and give back the wallet. Anybody in the position of being homeless and cold and tired and hungry, if they found a credit card, they're going to think about it, Curry said. But whether you're going to act on it, that's a different thing. I'd rather be cold and hungry and know that I did the right thing.
Wow.
That's cool.
That's a hero. That's awesome, man.
So then the granddaughter raised $42,000 for him.
Yeah, it's up to $45,000 right now on GoFundMe, and we will post this at Pat Unleash if you would like to at least take a look. Maybe you can help.
There's still hope in the world. We'll see you tomorrow. 888-900-3393 is the number you can use then. Plus, Jeffy will be here to chew the fat.
Pat Gray, only on the Blaze Radio Network.